Capture Your Confidence podcast. We are here this week recapping our State of Women conference.
I can't believe we did it again.
I know. And we are here recording this, 2 weeks post-conference?
It feels like it's been 100 years.
I know.
And what's funny is when we were standing in the room and we were looking around, it was so interesting to me that I feel like every year we have the same conversation but different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And it's still relevant and
Every time.
useful, and we're not done talking about it.
Never done talking about it. And I always think like, oh, maybe this will be the last one. And then we get in the room and we have these conversations and we realize how important it is.
Yeah.
And I just think, gosh, what would happen if we didn't create a forum where we can have these conversations and connect with women the way that we do?
I know. So if you're new, we have hosted a conference called the State of Women for the last 4 years. And this past couple weeks ago was our fourth one.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think that this baby idea that we had is now almost in kindergarten.
I actually do want to take it back to like how it started because quite frankly, the fact that Stephanie and I are still sitting here today doing this is hilarious considering how many like roadblocks would have made so many people quit. Like the first workshops that we had, you guys, were literally, we would sell tickets for like $300 for like an online half-day workshop. And the first one we did, literally one person came to the workshop and she kept her video off. So we spoke to a black screen for 3 hours.
For hours.
Literally for hours. I think that would be enough to make any woman quit.
Yeah.
Not us though.
I know. And then we kept going from there, and how we looped Kim into all this was we had a in-person sort of event.
Which was great. There were probably 30 women in the workshop, and it was wonderful.
And she came up to us. She was in the audience, and she came up to us and said, let's get together. She brought us in to do a workshop for her clients. Mm-hmm. And then we knew we had to do more.
Yeah. And so if you're sitting there thinking that you have an idea in your heart that you want to do something for a community that you feel passionately about, and you're worried about whether or not it will be worth the time and energy, or if anyone's going to come, they might not. But the one person that does come is going to be impacted. And I know this because we ran into this woman years later after having done that workshop. And obviously we didn't know what she looked like or who she was because her screen was off. But she shared with us that one virtual workshop was so impactful to her. And it really did change like the trajectory of her building her own self-confidence. So even if one person shows up and they leave their screen off, you never know the kind of impact that you could make for someone. And it could lead to 4 or 5 years down the road hosting totally full rooms of people talking about the thing that you're passionate about.
Yeah. And, we survey our guests at the end of every conference, and reading those survey results and just people giving their feedback and sharing how useful this was, how important this was, it kind of makes you, just appreciate all of the time that you put into planning it, especially when, sometimes you're not sure, like, why are we doing this again? But,
you feel like you lose your mind. And I think it's been an exceptionally difficult year for all three of us individually, as we've had other things like on our plate with, with my business growing the way that it is, with Kim really doubling down in real estate and focusing there, with everything that you're doing with reentry, and then just, all of our children in life and things. And it felt like an exceptionally heavy lift this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, exceptionally heavy, but also like so streamlined.
Yes.
Like I think we did such a good job this year of focusing on what was important and making the decision and moving on.
Yeah. And literally there was no second guessing or hemming and hawing or anything. I mean, how many bags Whitney dropped this year? She's like, she can't care today. She can't care. So we're going to have to move on.
Yeah. But I mean, in a way, I think our quality was just as strong, if not stronger. And what a good lesson in, just focus on the important stuff and the rest really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And, before when we mentioned that it feels like we're having the same conversation over and over again, but it's a little bit different. To give you context, each year we come up with a theme for what we want the conference to be about. And this is based on conversations that we're having with our clients and just general conversations that we're having with women in general. And this year our theme was working smarter, not harder, because with the wave of people leveraging AI, it feels like this time period where everybody should be less stressed because they have so much more help to do things. But I really think women don't know how to leverage the help. And so all they feel is like even more overwhelmed that they're not taking advantage of the things they ought to be taking advantage of in order to work smarter. And so in years past, of course, we've talked about doubling down in your career and in your life and in motherhood. And we've talked about deciding that you're going to be successful and going after the thing that you want and confidence building. But this year really felt like a rallying cry for women to say, I don't have to continue showing up and doing things that do not light me on fire. And I have options to create processes or bring in help to do things that have to get done that I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, I think that was highlighted so well throughout the conference. And then even in our own planning, right? I mean, man, we worked smarter, not harder.
Do you remember the first year we planned this conference, we met for 26 straight weeks.
Yeah, every week in person, guys. Like it was
we got together twice this year.
Yeah. And the rest was through text. We all knew kind of our roles and our strengths, and we played into those and just did what we needed to do and knew that the energy was going to be there, and we pulled it off.
I think in our first year, it was the epitome of this could have been an email, but we were just so nervous that we couldn't make it an email.
You know, we all had to like sit and talk about it and discuss. And I mean, everything from like lunch selection to what type of paper should the program be on to.
And now we're just like, did you order lunch? Yep. Done.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know what a journey.
Yeah. It's really cool to look back. And as I think about just how different each of us, the three of us who hosted this event together, how different we all are today from the first time that we did this, I am so just proud of what we've put on and what we've put together and how great these conversations have been and how important and impactful they felt. And now we have this beautiful opportunity where we're bringing more people into the fold and allowing them the opportunity to speak, which is such a life-giving experience too.
That is one of the things that we have kind of evolved in as the conference has grown, is using it, and also a way that, quite frankly, we're working smarter, not harder. Like, we don't have to create all the content all the time. Like, let's use our platform to help amplify other people so they can share their voices and their stories and work on their craft. And I think we did such a nice job of that this year.
And I think for so long, I subscribed to the lie that if it was my conference, that it was somehow less mine if I wasn't speaking. And that is so silly. Because, you know, first of all the women in these rooms have heard me. They're probably so tired of hearing me talk that they just like don't even, they like tune out anymore, right? So like they don't need to hear me speak, but also like you're cultivating and curating brilliant thought leaders on a topic that they care deeply about. And pulling all of this together, like it is still yours, even if you're not the one with the microphone. And that felt really healing to me too.
Yeah, no, I thought that was such a highlight of what we did. And, you know, if you're listening to this and you have an idea, I mean, and you want to do a conference, do a conference. Or you want to, I don't know, start a podcast or whatever. I mean, I think what I learned from this is we literally were just three friends who had this idea. And now look at it. I mean, there was nothing like, we are not conference planners by nature. Like we, you know, it was just, we had this idea, we figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, I will give you the caveat to this too. Like, do it for the experience and do it because it's something you want to do.
Yeah.
If you go into this because you want it to be your career path, or you go into it because you have these expectations of it being, you know, lucrative in some certain way, I think you're setting yourself up for a disadvantage. The magic happens when the pressure is off and you get to say, I want to do this thing because this really matters to me. I want to help people in this one particular way, and let the magic come from that instead of trying to make it this like, I just see so many women trying like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be a whatever public speaker. And it's like, well, they expect to get paid right away. And I'm like, ooh, gosh, this takes time.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to be willing to show up and hone our craft and get really good at this before anybody's ever willing to pay us to do it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. So, you know, have your Zoom call with no camera. Yeah. Get it out of the way. And then you can move on to, you know,
bigger and better stages. Exactly. Yeah. So as you think about the future of State of Women, what do you think that looks like?
That is a good question. You know, I love what we have been doing with it. I mean, I think it's so relevant. We're always in touch with like what is going on in the world in real time. So I think that's the magic. So it's like, okay, what are we going to be talking about from now until April the most? What are our friends and our clients talking about? And then how can we craft that into a meaningful conversation that a whole bunch of women are going to want to talk about in the fall?
You know, I think I have no idea what the State of Women looks like in the future, but I do know that for the last half a decade, we've been committed to having these conversations, and it's clear that we're not done having them.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining if you were local. And if you aren't, you're going to want to make sure to keep your eyes peeled for next fall whenever we open up tickets to the next State of Women.
Yes, we will talk to you guys soon.